Coffee's brewing. I'll be ready in a minute.
What time is it?
Well, you can consider that your breakfast.
That late, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna knock off in a few minutes.
Oh, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of bawling you out again. I'll let your father do it when he gets back tomorrow with Johnny. But I should tell you, though, that...
Oh, you've already told me. I'm working too hard. Teresa, don't worry about that coffee. If I still want it, I'll get it myself. Now, you go to bed. I'm gonna turn in a few minutes, I promise you.
Lancer?
Jed Lewis, isn't it?
That's right. You remember? It's been a long time since Vicksburg.
What the devil are you doing here? What's that gun for?
To take you to see an old friend. He's waiting just outside of town. His name is Cassidy. That's right. Lieutenant Cassidy. Shall we go? You remember Rick Hardy, don't you? Now, come on. Nice and easy. No fighting, no shouting. Let's go. I'm gonna go back and get Cassidy. Hey!
Just out to Jed Lewis's place. He's got a farm nearby he wants to show me. People want to sell out, move on.
Do you know what time it is?
Mm-hmm. It'll be dawn before I get there. You get some sleep, honey. Are you crazy or drunk or what? I told you I'd meet you.
I couldn't wait. You understand? He got away.
Who got away? What's going on? Dan? Dan. Oh, no.
You idiot.
She was bound to find out sooner or later anyway.
Get out of here. Wait for me downstairs. I said get out. Sarah, listen to me. Try to understand. When I said we'd come out here, buy a farm, settle down, and forget the past, I meant it. We will. We will. Just as soon as I clean the slate. The only time I ever lied to you, Sarah, was the day I told you why we were coming to Morocoyo. Can't you trust me this one last time?
I don't want you killing Scott Lancer. Is that clear, Dan? I want you to give this thing up. Here. Tonight. Now. Do it for us, Dan. For us.
Not for us, Sarah. For you. I gotta do what I believe is right. And until it's done, we don't even exist.
Dan, when you kill Scott Lancer, you'll be killing us with the same bullet.
Slept and his horse is still here, but nobody's seen him. Nobody. He was working late last night, and I brought him something to eat, and then, well, I thought he had gone to bed, but when he didn't come down for breakfast...
Scott's missing?
Mm-hmm.
Take it easy.
Well, I sent Miguel and some of the other men out to look for him about an hour ago.
Where's Miguel now?
On Oak Ridge. They'll fan out south from there.
You better take the rest of the men and meet us up there. You go back in the house. Don't worry about Scott. He's a big boy. He can take care of himself. Just falling rocks. Let's go.
He's dead. Don't you understand that? If
You
you
made
don't
that
find...
very clear, Mrs. Cassidy. I want to know why. What's your husband got against him?
Scott never mentioned him. The name Cassidy.
It means nothing to me. Of course, my son, there's a lot of things about him I don't know.
Well, how much do you have to know to go out there and find him?
Man, we're looking for him. Just tell us why.
My husband and your son spent a year together in a Confederate prison camp. My husband planned an escape. Scott was to be second in command. The night before they were to go, My husband fell sick. And Scott led the escape. My husband could hear the shots from his bed in the hospital. An hour later, the prison commandant brought him the report. 16 men, every last man, except your son, had been killed before they even reached the wall. It wasn't until months later, on the day the war ended, that Dan knew for sure that your son had survived. He was still in the hospital, more dead than alive. And he saw Scott. And he warned him then that he'd come after him.
And he believes Scott sold out the escape.
He's believed that every minute of his life for the last 5 years. I think that's the only thing that kept him alive during those first few months, when the doctor said he wouldn't make it. He means it when he says that he's going to make Scott pay for every one of those lives.
He's got help?
There's one man that I know of, Jed Lewis. He was in my husband's company before they were captured. And then after the war, he looked Dan up again. His brother was one of the men who was killed in the escape. I don't know. There may be others. I know Dan wrote some letters before we came out here. Don't you see? You've got to find him. You've got to find him before they do. Get him out of here, anywhere.
Assuming he's all right, where would you suggest I send him where your husband won't find him?
I don't care what you do with him. I came here for Dan. I didn't come here to save him. I don't want to see Dan end up at the end of a rope.
Or facing our guns?
Or facing your guns. No, I don't know where Dan is. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. I'm not trading his life for anybody's. I'm going now. Mr. Lancer, take my advice. You've got money. Use it. Use it to send your son away from here. Across the world if you have to. I don't care. Maybe someday Dan will forget.
Someday's a long time, Mrs. Cassidy. Too long. If you want to do something for your husband, tell him to get out of this territory before it's too late for all of us.
Sorry, Doc, but
You can talk later. It is a bullet, isn't it?
you know, I know Dr. Scott.
But I'll do what I can.
Maybe you better hide my horse first. Some men are after me.
Sorry, your horse is going to have to wait. I hope it wasn't over nothing trivial.
Somebody had to stay here in case Scott showed up. Well, he couldn't have done it. Not what that woman said. Well, we both know that. I mean, they'll find him. Everything will be all right. Everything's gonna work out.
I'm going back out. If Scott shows, tell him to stay out of sight. I'll send a hand back. You can use him to get in touch with me.
Whatever you believe, Scott didn't do it.
You think I'd be out of my mind trying to find him if I thought he did? No, Teresa, no son of mine could do a thing like that. That's one thing I'm still sure of in this life.
No, we didn't find him yet. Yes, Jed Lewis is still looking. I'm beat. I'm gonna lie down for a little while. What do you think you're...
I'm leaving on the 4 o'clock stage. I'm going home, Dan. I was just writing you.
You were writing me. After 10 years, you were writing me. You're my wife, Sarah. You're my wife.
I'm sorry, Dan. I just can't stay here and watch you do this.
Oh, no. No, you can't use my love for you to twist my arm. You're a strong woman, Sarah. But not that strong.
I don't understand you, Dan. Maybe I never did. But if I'd been you,
You'd have what? Walked away?
I'd have had enough of killing. Enough of hate.
Do you think I enjoy this? Scott was like my own brother. There are nights I pray I'll wake up and find he's been struck down, that the burden's no longer mine. How can I run away, Sarah, when I know I can't forget?
What if Scott Lancer wasn't responsible? What if it was someone...
Someone else? There wasn't anyone else.
Dan, come with me. It won't be like running away. It's going to something better. Please come with me. Dan.
No. No, nobody's going anywhere, not until this thing is done.
You're wrong, Dan. I'm leaving on the 4 o'clock stage. And there's nothing in the world you can do to stop me.
All right, then go. Go. Be damned.
They tell us you do the doctoring around here. You wouldn't by any chance be treating a wounded man, would you?
Mister, I treat dogs, cats, and horses. Now, if you'll excuse me.
You don't mind if we take a look around, do you?
I told you there's nobody here, and I'm just
I
a
said
vet.
we'll check. Hardy? You know, if you're lucky, we'll be out of here in no time. Hey, where do you think you're going?
Look, I don't know who you think you are, mister, pushing your way in here. If you're looking for somebody...
Oh, shut up. Hardy! Maybe you're telling the truth. If you are, you got my apologies.
Save him, Jack. He was here all right. Bed all messed up. Blood on the spread.
He was here.
How long ago? Where'd he go? Come on, old man. Talk if you want to come out of this in one piece.
1 second, mister.
I don't know. I swear, I don't know.
All right. He could have gotten far in his shape. Come on, let's go. Not a word about this to anybody, or we'll be back to finish the job.
Mr. Cassidy, my name's Johnny. Johnny Lancer. I wouldn't do that.
My business isn't with you, boy.
Well, that must mean you haven't found Scott yet.
Not yet.
Well, you never will, Mr. Cassidy. Because you and me are going to take a little trip to the railroad depot at Cross Creek. We're going to stop the train, put you on it, and ship you back east.
You're fooling yourself, boy. Even if you do get me on that train.
You can come back. If you do, it'll be the last trip you'll ever make. Let's go.
Where's Scott?
That's how come we came back to get you.
We almost had him. Some fool vet light his head off long enough for him to get away.
He'll keep. Just as he is.
All right, let's get back. No, you go back. Take Hardy with you. I'm gonna keep looking for Scott.
How long? Till you fall over with exhaustion? Now, come on, we gotta...
No, you gotta. But not me. I don't quit till I pay him back for what he did to my brother.
He's not in there either.
All right, where is he? When's he coming back? I didn't come to kill him. I just want to talk to him.
You want to talk.
Look, I know what he probably told you, but I'm not a killer. And I'm not a traitor.
It doesn't matter what you are or why you came here. The point is he'll kill you on sight. I should think that would be proof enough.
Lady, your husband and I are going to face this out once and for all. Now, you tell me when he's coming back.
I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know. Look, Mr. Lancer, get this through your head. There is nothing you can say, nothing you can do that will change his mind. I know. I've tried. Now, if you stay here, one of you is going to die. If you go now, I promise you I won't say anything to him.
Even if I trusted you. Oh. Even if I trusted you. I don't think I could make it to the lobby. So it looks as if I'll be staying for a while. Where do you think you're going?
I'm going downstairs to get some whiskey and some fresh bandages.
You're very kind. But I said I was staying. And I'm not going to be tricked out. Dragged out.
If it weren't for you, if you never existed, I'd have a life today. Now, you take 5 minutes and you get out. You understand? You have 5 minutes.
Sarah? Sarah! Break it down. Move! New friend of yours, Sarah? Looks like you saved me a lot of trouble. Hold it. Get him out of here.
No, Dan.
I'll talk to you later, Sarah.
Dan.
I'm going to look forward to hearing you explain what...
Dan, don't do it.
It's done.
Dan, you kill him, and you're killing an innocent man. It was you. You were the one who betrayed the escape. Do you understand me? It was you. I didn't want to tell you.
Do you know what you're saying? Is that what he told you to get him to help you?
No, Dan.
He told you a bunch of lies and...
No, he didn't tell me anything. Dan, you were sick. You were delirious. The night before the escape, you...
I don't want to hear his lies, Sarah.
Oh, Dan, you couldn't help it. You couldn't help it. You didn't know what you were saying. A hospital orderly overheard you and...
It's a lie. All lies.
No, Dan. The Army knows. They told me. They knew you weren't responsible. Well, they closed the book on it. Just to protect you. Like I've tried to do. Dan, I never wanted to tell you. I was afraid of what it might do to you. I thought you'd forget Scott. I was wrong. I was so wrong. If I had told you, none of this would have happened. Dan, forgive me.
Get some whiskey.
Yeah, I don't need a drink. I'm all right. I'm sorry. For you, for me. Well, I guess somebody better tell Jed. Hardy. Hardy? Hardy!
I see you know what it means, Dan. That's right. Hardy's gone to tell Jed. Now you'll be the hunted.
Will I?
You see, Jed's brother was all he had in his life. And now he's going to have somebody to take my place.
You take pleasure in that, don't you?
Well, I don't have much time for that. Well, we better get out to the ranch. Because if you wait for the stage, you're liable to wait too long. You try to ride out of town, and you're not going to get very far. The only place that's going to be safe for the both of you is with us.
Would you like something to eat?
No, thank you, darling. Scott! Let's get him in the house.
You better set up some lookouts. Some men may be coming for him.
Name's Cassidy, Mr. Lancer. Dan Cassidy.
Cassidy? Well, you're the one that...
Traveled 3,000 miles to kill your son. For something I did. That's right, Mr. Lancer. I was the one who betrayed the escape. And it's me the others will be coming for now.
All he says he knows is they checked out an hour ago.
Look, mister, I'm only the room clerk here. I try to mind my own business.
Go on. You tell me how you minded your own business.
Honest, mister, I don't know where he went. The last time I saw Cassidy, he was leaving here in a buckboard with his wife and Scott Lancer.
How'd he mount up? You sure you went out with Scott Lancer, huh?
Scott Lancer, that's right.
All right, let's go.
Look, I know what Scott's trying to do. But if Cassidy stays here any longer, there's going to be trouble.
Kick him out? Let him be gunned down?
Scott's got a hole in his shoulder. And Cassidy had it put there, and I nearly got the same. You're asking a lot if you want me to forget about it. Tell me something. Would you have let him stay if Scott hadn't talked you into it?
I'd like to think that I have as much compassion as my own son.
But you're not sure, are you? All right. Maybe you're right. I hope so. Because a lot of that help out there, they're friends of mine. They're friends of mine. I don't want to see him get hurt.
I take it that was about me. I'd feel the same way. So much so, Mr. Lancer, that I decided to go.
Go where? Where could you go that...
I didn't come to argue. Just to ask if my wife can stay on until it's safe. Look, when I came here, I wasn't thinking. I was in a panic.
Mister, Mr. Cassidy, it's been a long day. I'm tired. Dinner will be in an hour. Why don't you go upstairs and freshen up or have a drink or something? If you want to discuss this further.
Dan, why don't you lie down and get some rest? You must be exhausted.
Do me a favor, Sarah. Stop being so solicitous. Right now, it's hard enough for me to stay in the same room with you.
Dan, what do you want me to do? I can't make it up to you in one day.
What if I'd killed him, Sarah? What if I'd killed Scott Lancer? I know. You wanted to help me. Who wanted that kind of help, Sarah? Who can afford to pay that kind of price? What did you think I'd do if you told me the truth, Sarah? Kill myself? Did you think that little of me?
There was no reason to tell you until we came out here. No reason to hurt you that way. I thought...
You just sweep it under the carpet and it'd all go away. Only it didn't go away, did it, Sarah? Because of you.
I know people have been hurt. And more people may be. But I can't change it, Dan. I can't change it, can I?
No. No, you can't change it, Sarah. All we can do is hope that Scott's wrong. That Jed never shows up. All we can do, Sarah, is hope that nobody dies because of how wrong you were.
Guards all around. Cassidy's in there, all right. It ain't gonna be easy, Jed. Not like last night.
Well, hard or easy. We're gonna get them out of there, both of them.
Lancer and Cassidy?
That's right.
But his wife, she just said that...
I don't care what his wife said. I can think of a lot of reasons that woman would want her husband out of this. Before this night's over, one of them's gonna be dead.
I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't mean to wake you up. How are you feeling?
A little stiff. I'm all right. I heard some riders before. Some talk. What was that all about?
Nothing for you to concern yourself with. You go back to sleep.
I asked you a question.
Well, a hand came back. He said he saw a couple of riders over at the South Range.
Jed Lewis? I had to bring Cassidy here. You understand that, don't you? I couldn't just...
Let him be slaughtered? There's nothing to be ashamed of there, Scott. As a matter of fact, I'd feel kind of proud. To Jed Lewis's. Won't do any good, just as it didn't with me this morning. There are times when talk is not...
Get out of my way.
Mrs. Cassidy.
What? What am I supposed to do? Just sit here and wait for them to come and kill him?
He's safer here than he would be anyplace else.
For how long? A week? A month, maybe? Or are we going to be your permanent house guests? I know Jed Lewis. I can talk to him, make him see reason.
The only thing you'll be giving him is a hostage. The lever he needs to force your husband out into the open.
I've got to try. I owe it to Dan, to everybody. If it wasn't for me...
Well, maybe that's a lot of the problem, Mrs. Cassidy. Maybe you've done too much for him. Now, come on down.
What did you mean by that?
Let's go back to the house.
Can't you understand? I'm just trying to help Dan. I have always tried to help him.
Yes, Mrs. Cassidy, I can understand that, but sometimes a woman in doing that destroys everything she loves in a man and leaves him with nothing.
But I lied to protect him.
To protect him from what? From himself because you didn't have enough faith in him to believe that he could face the truth? And now here you are, about to go off and do it again.
It's for his own good.
For his own good. Well, Mrs. Cassidy, I'm not going to let you go out there under any circumstances. But I can't believe that you would want to, that you would want to cripple him any further, at least until he had a chance to stop punishing himself, to stand on his own 2 feet. I guess it all boils down to one thing. How much do you love him?
Very much.
Well, then, let's go back to the house.
Teresa made up a little gem for you, Scott. She guarantees it'll cure any kind of croup you got. Bullet wounds, nastiness.
What's happening out there?
Well, if Jed Lewis and his boys are still around by morning, we'll find them.
You think that'll solve all the problems?
No, but it's good for a start.
Thought Dan Cassidy might be in here. Have you seen him?
Not for the last half hour or so.
Johnny, could I see you for a moment?
What's the matter?
Nothing. Well, if he was there, he heard everything we said.
You going after Jed Lewis?
Most likely.
Why? What would he prove?
To prove he could stand by himself, maybe in a funny way, that he loved you.
What now?
2 of us go after him.
The 3 of us.
Oh, now, Scott, you're not strong enough.
No. I've been in the middle of all this since the beginning. And now, one way or the other, I'm going to be in on the end of it.
Listen, you take care of the guards down by the wash. I'm gonna try to make it through the draw.
You really think we got a chance?
I don't care whether we got a chance or not. When you feel like I do, you just grab him by the throat and squeeze.
That you? Jed? Is that you?
That's right. Me and Hardy.
I heard you were out by South Range.
Hardy here heard a few things, too.
Yeah, well, that's what I came to talk to you about, Jed.
Well, it couldn't have been too serious. I mean, you're not wearing your gun.
I didn't think one would do me any good.
I'll say one thing for you, Lieutenant. When you're right, you're really right. Go ahead. Let's hear what you got to say.
Jed, for 5 years now, I thought about only one thing. You know that. My whole life wrapped itself around it. Sarah tried to help, but all I thought about was revenge on one man. And now, for the first time, I know who that man really is. Believe me, Jed, I never knew until Sarah just told me.
Yeah? Well, it seems like to me your Sarah's been doing a lot of talking. First off, she warned the Lancers. Then she tells you some wild story that stops you from killing Scott.
Wild story?
That's right, Lieutenant, a wild story. You think about it. You don't know what really happened. All you know is what she told you. And like you say, she's been trying to get you out of this from the start.
Well, sure, Jed.
Maybe she's just got you twisted around a little bit, you know? Because if you really believed that story, you wouldn't have come out here alone, not without a gun.
Oh, Jed.
Now, Lieutenant, I know you've been through a lot. But, you and me, we both really know who did it, don't we? We know it was Lancer, and all you got to do is realize now that your wife is telling you a lie, and we'll all be back together again.
I can't. I can't, Jed.
What do you mean you can't? Don't be a fool. You didn't come out here just to get yourself killed. Now, you think about it, Lieutenant. You just say the word, and everything will be like it was.
It's too late, Jed. Even if what you said is true, which it's not, I couldn't. I've run with the hunted now. I can't go back with the hunters.
That's too bad, Lieutenant. Last chance.
You got off lucky this time, Lewis. Next time they'll hang you. Get off our land.
You all right? Is there anything I can do to help?
Thank you, no, Scott. I don't think I need any help anymore.
If ever you decide to buy and settle down around here, let me know.
Well, one day, maybe. Thank you, Mr. Lancer. But right now, I got a lot of forgetting to do. I figure maybe it'd be easier if I start somewhere else. Scott, there's a special picture of the company, the way the 83rd looked before it all started, that I got tucked away. When we settle in someplace, I want to send it to you.
I'd like that very much.
Thank you. Oh, and maybe someday we can find a time to talk about the good things.
I'd like that, too.